For your time,
Sure.
Matthew, tell me about the genesis of this project.
Okay. Putty Hill was born from sort of an aborted project, a screenplay that I'd been developing, looking for financing for. A picture set in Baltimore called Metal Gods, about a group of high schoolers who live and love heavy metal. And it's kind of a coming-of-age tale, specific to this neighborhood in Baltimore where I grew up. And Putty Hill was an open construct that I developed when it was clear we wouldn't be able to find the financing for Metal Gods, at least last August when we hoped to shoot. So I used the cast that I'd found, some of the cast that I'd found for Metal Gods, and created this new scenario that allowed them to share their own stories, that blended documentary interviews with the cast, with the subjects, with a fictional storyline involving the death of a young man from a heroin overdose.
I think the device that you use, which I haven't seen in a film before, the one that usually, I mean, we are aware of the camera being omnipresent in the films, but in this case, the camera talks also to the characters. The characters that wouldn't be normally talkative, in that moment when the narrator would ask them questions, they were much more forthcoming. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I think what you note is important. It does sort of sound like the questions are coming from the camera itself or from behind the camera. It's as if the film is asking questions of its cast. And I was always interested in combining more traditional documentary talking head interviews with a fictional narrative, and figuring out a way to sort of seamlessly move the cast in and out of these interviews. So that was where I placed a lot of my attention when I was constructing the scenario. I always imagined that I would be asking the questions off screen because I knew the cast better than anyone else and had spent time getting to know them, visited their homes, met their family, their girlfriends, and had already been in locations in which, in many instances, we chose to shoot. I guess we were comfortable enough with one another that, I knew when to stop, and conversely, they felt, able to sort of share personal details about their lives and also take risks to a certain extent when it came to the performances.
What were the challenges doing this film and basically in Baltimore, right? Where are you from?
Yeah, that's where I live. Yeah, that's where we shot. Well, we made the film for just a very modest budget, and finding even that money was a challenge. 2008 was when we were trying to finance, and the economy was suffering. And in Baltimore, there aren't a lot of people that invest in the industry, so we were looking for private equity from individuals who, have supported the arts in the past, but just weren't, economically in a place which it was viable for them to sort of do so. So money was a big one. And accordingly, we had only 12 shoot days.
Wow.
So we had a camera rental from IFP and Panasonic for 2 weeks, and so we structured our shooting schedule was really dictated by those parameters. And there were 15 locations, so we only had 3 company moves. But the schedule, though the film wasn't scripted, it was just a treatment, 5-page treatment. The schedule going in was very well organized by my producer, Jordan Mintzer, and that made it possible to get everything we needed.
Tell me about your crew, like a DP and editors or something.
Sure, my DP is a great guy named Saulnier, who I met in summer camp when I was like 13. We were both 13, and then we met again at NYU. So he studied there, and he's a director as well. He produced and directed and shot a genre film called Murder Party that Magnolia picked up. And we've been working together, on 2 features now. He shot my first Hamilton, And he has just a great eye and an ability to work with both available light and artificial light to, you know, enhance the natural light of the scene. And yeah, we just kind of share a certain sensibility, and also it's very easy for us to communicate. So I like working with him for those reasons. My editor, Marc, is also an NYU grad and came from documentary tradition, so I really thought he'd be great for this project. He's New York based. And my producers, there are 4 of them, 2 from Baltimore, 1 young producer from New York, and Jordan Mintzer, who is based in Paris now. Everyone else, you know, some people we had to train. I used some students from the university, which I teach in various positions. One of the key players was Ramel Gantiana, who's he was our gaffer, but also first AC and Digitech, so he was like wearing multiple hats. He was amazing.
Well, I guess that's what you have to do on an independent film, right? Everybody's wearing multiple hats.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me about what made you become a filmmaker and filmmaker that inspired your films.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, when I was a kid, I always admired David Attenborough, the host of Living Planet and Life on Earth and all the nature and everything. And I was obsessed with those programs as a kid. And at the time I thought, yeah, I wanted to like go into study science, biology and stuff. But what I really think I was drawn to was just like the documentation of the world. And so that's sort of where I come from. Like, I'm interested in sort of studying the human animal and like telling stories about people and their natural environments. People that have influenced me, definitely the photographer Diane Arbus, the filmmakers, Robert Bresson, certainly, the whole old guard of the French New Wave, Jacques Rivette, Godard. American filmmakers, I love Harmony Korine, Terrence Malick. And I'm also really inspired by traditions of the avant-garde, more experimental filmmaking in the U.S. So Jonas Mekas, Stan Brakhage, Kenneth Anger, definitely Ken Jacobs.
Well, it makes sense that now, after you mentioning, so I see I think you have definitely fresh voice. I mean, what struck me about your film was also the authenticity of the locations and the characters, which you don't see when the films, you know, they were, you knew that they were like kind of real people, you know.
In their, and in their natural habitat. Yeah, totally. Thank you.
Was it difficult to find the cast, or how was it to do?
I mean, you know, again, I was like casting with particular roles in mind originally for this other script, you know, and it was an ensemble cast of mainly young adults. So I saw over like 500 auditions in Baltimore over the course of a year and a half, and when we were able to switch gears, and we did it very quickly, but decided to make this other film, Putty Hill, it gave me the freedom to work with some folks that like I'd really liked and wanted to see on camera, but didn't necessarily fit any of the parts I'd written in Metal Gods.
Oh, okay.
Our world premiere was actually January at the Berlinale.
Oh, okay.
So it's been touring about a year, and we're getting ready for our theatrical release, which will be likely in February, the first quarter of 2011.
Okay, great. Any next projects lined up?
Sure. I mean, I've been taking meetings while I'm here. I have 3 scenarios that I'm moving forward. I mean, I'd like to return to Metal Gods, but I have a project that I wrote with my partner Amy Belk called I Used to Be Darker, and that's about a young woman who's from Northern Ireland and runs away from home and the troubles to actually a small town on the eastern shore of Maryland. She gets into some trouble and then stays with family in Baltimore. And we're developing that now, and I have a project, a couple other projects that are really like also location specific, set in Baltimore. So, yeah, we'll see.
Good luck. All the best for you.